Okay, so why create safer spaces? First things first, I think it's the right thing to do. I personally believe that as an organizer, I have a responsibility to the people who I invite in my space to make them feel safe. And I can't control everything, and so sometimes incidents can happen, but if they keep happening over and over again, I think it is my responsibility to make sure that it doesn't, and create policies and create systems to prevent people from getting harmed in the space I invite them in. Recently, and I mean over the last few years, there's been a lot of articles and people sharing their stories about their experience in improvisation, particularly women or people of color. And they've described a very dark reality of being harassed, suffering of sexism, sexual assault, racism, and overall being marginalized. And I think it's just not right. So I hope that every theater organizer, every class organizer will take up that task to create safer spaces for those people. I also believe that we have a weird thing in improvisation about the yes and permission, and we consider that everything that happens on stage does and can, but if you kiss somebody on stage and they don't want you to, that's still sexual assault. And if you hurl a racist insult at someone without any artistic value, I think that's still an antagonizing behavior. So I think we need to like really take a good look about what we're doing and what we portray on stage and how we behave, both on stage and off stage, to really make spaces feel comfortable and inclusive of everyone. And that doesn't mean that we can't push boundaries, but if we push boundaries together instead of against each other, then I think we can go much further. And actually creating safer spaces, to me, create a system and a permission to go even further with your partners, because you know that you're safe and that you don't need to defend yourself. So I think that's those are like the big overarching reason, but I think there's like more concrete reason. By creating safer spaces systems, you will have a very clear guidelines about how to deal with an incident. And oftentimes, if you have problems in your space and people have disagreements, and there's no system to solve it, then it can fester and get dragged out and create a lot of tension in your space, and that might affect the work on stage. If you have a very simple system, some people to go see, some people who will mediate the situation, then you can ease tension and work in a more serene and calm environment that I believe will be more productive. The second thing that I think will help is to retain people. You might have a lot of turnover, and some people might come in and go out, feel very uncomfortable. Maybe you're trying to recruit certain groups of people and you're having trouble doing so because they keep coming and then leaving. And I think by addressing your safer space policies, it will help with retaining those people who will feel more safe and more included, and instead of leaving if they have an issue, they can come to you and help solve it. And last thing, I think you will create a space that will probably be more in line with your values. And so during this module, we will start by questioning and interrogating what those values are. And once you've figured them out, you can like really create a space that's in line with those. So here are the reasons why I think it's important to do that work and create safer spaces. And there will be 4 steps in doing so. So the first one will be to gather a team, and then we'll write the code of conduct with them. And then we're going to create reporting system, and fourth, we're going to create a keep the record system. But first, I would like you to do a small exercise, and the exercise is about taking an inventory of your space. And what I would like you to do is go find the spreadsheet that I've made for you, that I've prepared for you, and update it with the numbers that are representative of your area. So the idea is to count the number of men, the number of women, the number of straight people, the number of LGBTQAI plus people, the number of people with autism, the number of people who are neurotypical, and so on and so on. and compare those to the numbers in your area, and kind of get a sense of who's overrepresented and who's underrepresented compared to your local area. So first, make sure you update those numbers, and then you can just count the number of people you have in your space and get a sense of who's in the space and who isn't. And that will help you to kind of get a sense of what areas you need to work on, and also make choices about what you want to focus on. Just go ahead.